When he says 3, 2, 1, he looks at Jamaica. Not came out.
Who are you and where are you from?
My name is Jimmy Gadsden and I am from Wemba, which is located on the border of New South Wales and Victoria.
My name is Jimmy Gadsden. My mob is Wemba.
G'day, my name is Jimmy Gadsden. This is my second digital story. I'm from Wemba, which is located in Swan Hill. So my family grew up in Swan Hill and still got family up there.
Three things I like about myself is I believe that I'm quite funny, I love me sport, and I'm a social guy.
What's your ideal job?
Why?
My dream job would be to play AFL because it's what I like doing the most, and to be able to do that as a job with my mates would be unreal.
In life, I would love to get drafted into the AFL, have me a nice wife and some children.
I'd probably definitely play AFL, but that's a big if. So if not, I would like to work in Indigenous communities to help out, or if not, become a PE teacher.
How do you define manhood?
So a man to me would be someone who respects their family, looks after them, but not only just their family but everyone around them, is a good role model and a good leader.
So how do you define an Aboriginal role model?
What makes a great Aboriginal role model is someone who is proud of their culture and identity, is not afraid to speak up about it. Thank you.
An Aboriginal role model would be someone who knows culture, is a very good leader to the young Indigenous kids around their community, not just in their community but other communities around Australia. And yeah.
What makes you proud to be Aboriginal?
Up there. What I like about being Aboriginal is that no matter what colour you are, everyone gets around you, everyone's family. And that I have such a historical background and race, and it's a privilege to be a part of, and to also have my brothers here at Scotch and leading me through the way at Scotch, and have embraced me and I've embraced them and embraced the culture and from where they've come from, and to all be in one place is unreal.
Aboriginal.
Just the connection you have with other Indigenous people, like all the Scotch boys here, all my brothers. Yeah, just a good community to be around, and they're very funny.
What do you want most non-Indigenous people to know about what it's like being Aboriginal?
I reckon I've said this about 1,000 times, but I think it's just the stereotype that you have to be black to be Aboriginal, which is just obviously not true. It doesn't matter about skin or anything like that. It's about your bloodline, your culture, your background. I still to this day am telling people the famous quote that no matter how much milk you put in coffee, it's still coffee. And although it goes over their head and takes a little bit of explaining to do, by the end of it, I hope they do get something out of it and get rid of that stereotype. And the one stereotype I'd like to acknowledge is that people assume that if you're not black, you're not Aboriginal. So I hate that. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 or 3. Yours. Last one touch.
So if you could be an animal or a totem, what would you be and why?
I would be a lion, just because he's king of the jungle. No one would bother him, and I'd just be able to sleep in peace without anything bothering me.
If you wrote your life story, what would you call it and why?
I put down Through Thick and Thin, because it's just about me growing up and where I come from. So,
And if you're a superhero, what special power would you possess? And how would you use it to make the world a better place?
I put down teleporting, and then to help the world, I could, if people don't like flying, I could take them places, or like teleport into burning buildings and teleport them out, but yeah, I don't know.
Why do you think Scotch College is a great place for young Indigenous men?
I think it's a great opportunity for those who probably couldn't afford the school fees and the education you get out of it, and the opportunities after school. Like, it opens so many pathways, and I think it's just a great opportunity.
What's your favourite colour?
My favourite colour would probably be orange.
Why?
I don't know, it's just a bright colour, and I use it in a lot of drawings that I do, and
The last couple of years you've been doing a mentoring program with AJ. What have you enjoyed about it?
The understanding and the culture understanding and all the statistics and personally I didn't know about, and just you get a broader view of Indigenous culture and what it's all about and the history behind it.
What's your plans for next year?
So working over the summer with my brother, just at the golf course, and then next year, in the first semester of school, going up to Tiwi Islands to do teaching up there. So do that for the first semester, and then come back second half of the year and just play footy and work, I think, and then uni the next year after. So just take a little gap year.
Yep. What do you want to study?
Indigenous studies, like Australian history kind of thing, I reckon, or social work, something like that.
What's one thing about culture that you think you and your family might have missed out on?
Probably going back to actually where we came from, and not seeing family members and like all the cousins and aunties and uncles back home, and then just like being one with each other again, because it's all been over the phone, and especially us being in Melbourne, and then other family members being in regional Victoria, they have less restrictions than us, so it's like that missing out as well. So I think when all this is over, we really need to get back home and just start connecting again and just catching up, I think.
When you have kids, what part of culture do you want to make sure that they actually get?
Where they come from and how it all works in their bloodline, but to also remember that skin colour doesn't mean shit. It doesn't matter about the outside, about what the inside and what you believe in, and it doesn't matter about anyone else's perspective. It's just you. It's all that matters.
How do you describe Aboriginality?
Being one with culture, knowing your background, the historical features and the events, and not judging and another brother or sister. It's you're all the same culture, same background, so it doesn't matter about shade, skin or anything like that. So just believing.
Do you find racism is predominant in 2020?
I do, yes, because I've seen it firsthand, and then you see it on the sporting events, or like obviously police brutality and throughout society, and it's shocking, and I hate to say it, but yeah, it's alive, and we can do so many things to stop it. And I think what America is doing now with their Black Lives Matter is what Australia should be doing with their oldest living culture.
If you had a chance to, branch into social work, what areas would you like to work in?
Yeah, definitely in that kind of like social, like law, kind of just like Australia's Aboriginal rights, and working in young Indigenous communities with like schools, and kind of what my auntie does. Just, being that voice to young Indigenous kids growing up, that we don't have to live with this stereotype that we don't have to finish or we drop out, and just to push through those barriers and prove everyone wrong, I reckon would be a great feeling for them and for me being a part of it. I know I've had a lot of people along my way push me through and get me through, so kind of want to repay the community.
Do you see yourself as a potential leader?
Oh, in some ways, yes. In some ways, no. I like to believe that I've shown some leadership qualities and, you know, taken some of the younger boys like under my wing. I don't know what they would think, but be that, not that role model, but just that someone who's so easy to talk to and have a laugh with, and to talk about their future, and if they're going through anything, then I can be here to support them and talk to them. So, yeah, I guess.
What is one Indigenous issue that you're very passionate about?
Probably identity. Just the fact that non-Indigenous people always expect that you have to be black to be Aboriginal. So it's annoying for me, obviously, but yeah, just need to spread the awareness that it's like not about the colour. It's about what's inside and your connection and the culture.
What impact would you like to make on Indigenous affairs in the future?
Probably the same scenarios, just being an Indigenous role model to the younger generation who might be going through the same kind of stuff that I have about colour. So just being there for them and getting them through it, and also spreading awareness to non-Indigenous people.
Thank you very much for participating in the interview over the last 18 months. It's been an honour and a privilege to be able to work with you.
Thanks heaps, AJ. It's been a pleasure.
Shit. I hate spelling Indigenous. It's so...
Actually, I've just recorded you that. I hate spelling Indigenous.
Oh, I know what I meant.